Good day. I just wanted to come down and do something worthwhile today, and I didn't have much time. I noticed on Sunday that these iris had started coming through, so I thought I'd weed that trough and the trough behind it, which has got King Alfred, I think, daffodils in it, and then just top dress with some fresh compost. And now, of course, what I need to do is keep on top of the weeding. But yeah, I thought I would do this. It might feel a bit like when you look over here at the bed that needs weeding because of all the couch grass that has taken over the root bed. It may seem a little ridiculous to be doing this, though this is a little oasis now that will give joy in the spring amidst the turbulence of everything else, unless I can get on top of that over the coming months. It feels quite a dark, dank, depressing day today, and that's even before you take account of the UK weather, which itself has been dark, dank and depressing. It's now sunset. I think we've just passed sunset now. It's quite grey. I'm not sure how this will be picking up. But yeah, after today's news from across the water, it felt important to come down and just do something to lift my mood. And that has been sorting out these two troughs. So despite the melee of mess around it, those two troughs are now sorted, and I think that's quite important. And yeah, it's cheered me a little bit today. It definitely has. And hopefully there'll be nice spring flowers. Who knows how many. Those iris are coming up pretty quickly, so maybe they'll be well up before the spring and out. I think they will be. I think they were this time, or I think they were a year ago. They were up well before we got into spring. But yeah, it feels as though we need to find those moments of joy at the moment, and those times of tranquility and a little oasis that we can just be ourselves in. It feels we're becoming as a planet. The planet is not as a planet, as human beings, we're becoming much more concerned about our own self-being rather than the being of everyone. But I guess that's what happens. Yeah. Anyway. I am going to go now because it's supposed to be so dark you can't see me. I don't know. And I will see you again another day. Hopefully the day will be brighter in many different ways. And I'll be up to something else. Actually, despite it being quite dark and past sunset now, I think I might just pull a few more weeds in some beds. I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll wend my way home. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. See you very soon. Bye. We're at the Cutty Sark in Greenwich. Pretty impressive, especially considering this was burnt down quite a few years ago. Huge restoration project. And what I'm noticing is how these beds here are completely unkempt. I mean, I love the old man's beard there. That's lovely. But, you know, these could be a wonderful place for shrubs and bulbs and things, and they've just been left to be taken over by dandelions, which of course are great for wildlife. Anyway, well, they've got their Christmas tree ready there, look. And then that over there, I think that's where you go if you want to walk under the Thames. That rounded building, and then there's Canary Wharf where we've just come from. But yeah, there's Richard there. We'll look a bit later where I used to do the Greenwich ice rink and the Greenwich wheel. Move towards the river now. There's Canary Wharf over there. It goes down towards more Docklands. But you know, these beds have got lots of grasses in them, but so many weeds. You'd think this would be given over to, you know, a community project. I don't know. I mean, you know, when they're in full bloom, even now they look rather lovely. But I think they could be all natural grasses and things and be kept well. Oh look, here's a boat coming in. There's Richard. And there's a boat coming in, look. So it's going to Uber boat. These go up and down the Thames. A couple of swans down there. Thames clippers. Oh look, we got palms here. Wow, look at the wash that came in then. Of course, people who work on the Thames, I think they're called watermen. I think there's a guild of watermen. Very skilled manoeuvring. And you think my dad used to do the docking and mooring and dispatching of boats at St Peter Port in Guernsey for 42 years, I think it was. And you can see across on the other side of the river the other dome where the foot tunnel comes out. Right, we're going to carry on going somewhere else now. So those are the two turrets of the Greenwich Naval College there, and the ice rink was just on the other side of the road between the colonnades. And obviously on a good day you can clearly see Canary Wharf. Painted Hall, which I love, but we won't go in today, is below the left hand turret there. I mean, let's get into the middle and then you can see. Mind you, I'm following in Richard's footsteps because he's doing everything I'm doing. So yeah, the ice rink sat between the colonnades that you can see left and right. It was pretty impressive. And then of course you had this view going the other way, which is the Queen's house. So when you skated, that's what you saw. This is the National Maritime Museum, not to be confused with this side of the road, which is the Royal Naval College. But yeah, the cafe was on the sort of between the turrets, and the skate hire bit was between the turrets. So you didn't really, even though it's quite low, you could only see the top of Canary Wharf. I remember on our opening day, I think we had ITV morning programme, Good Morning Down, and we had Blue, the band Blue, down here skating on the rink. And then if we go this way, you can see what Greenwich is famous for. You can see it at the back. Can you see up there? That's Greenwich Observatory, where Greenwich Mean Time is observed, and that ball that you can see will be lifted up, I think, for noon, and then it gets dropped down at noon. Anyway, Richard's waiting for me over there, chatting to people. That's unusual. We're off into the Queen's house. And here's a traditional pie and mash shop. Richard's on the other side of the road. This is where Mum, Dad and I had pie and mash when I was 11. So quite a long time ago. And these are the sort of old streets of Greenwich you'll most probably be able to see. Yeah, the old streets of Greenwich over there. And we're sort of back near the Cutty Sark, which is just over there. More buildings, and on this I'm going to say goodbye for today. See you soon. Bye. Good day. It's Sunday morning. Another blanket of cloud smothering the sky, slightly higher than over the past few days, though I can see planes quite clearly below the cloud level going into land at Heathrow from here. But it has been so dry. We've not had rain for I would have thought we haven't had any sort of rain really for about 2 weeks, and everything outside, which is now, or everything in pots outside, which are in gravel trays without holes, they actually now need a water. I hadn't expected this period to be so dry, considering we had so much wet weather. Do you remember? So much wet weather at the end of September, and then going sort of halfway through October, and I decided to swap out the gravel trays without holes for gravel trays with holes. But maybe I did it too soon, because this is the second time that I've watered these this week. Anyway, that's fine. It's fine, you know, as long as I do it, it's absolutely fine. And I have done it. But yeah, so dry over the past few weeks. Conversely, these at the front are still in gravel trays without holes, simply because I forgot to swap them out when I did the others. And none of these need a water, because they're plenty moist enough. And then behind, in the, I think that's a Tesco crate, is a whole load of lungwort. So these are all plants that I'm looking after over the winter that weren't sold at our gate sale. So these are all perennial plants. As you can see, there's various ivies and grasses, there's a buddleia, there's some ferns, lungwort and various other things in there, a mix. So yeah, these don't need watering. They're plenty moist enough. Hiya. How are you?
Are you working on our egg?
Yeah, just netting the brassicas. Our brassicas in here are now netted. Let's just take a little closer look. It's a job I've been intending to do for far too long. It's now done though. So obviously I put these blue hoops in, secured them in place with bamboos. The bamboos slot into the hoops and then go into the ground. Vivi did give me some clips to attach certain bits of bamboo, let me just show you, to piping, so I need to find those. I've left that verbascum in there. Over here you can't see too well, but these are dazzling blue kale. These are Portuguese cabbage, which have grown hardly at all since being put in like 2 months ago. I mean, extraordinary. There's quite a bit of space in the middle here. I've left this for the verbascum as well, and there are a few, maybe you can see one bit here and one bit here of marjoram, so I've left those in, and there's another bit over there. I've left those in because I can take those out in the spring and pot them on. But the reason it was important to do this is because I want to get our broad beans in, and I've decided the broad beans are going into here, and we will use the tunnels that we've taken off the brassicas to just give them a little bit of protection as the broad beans grow over the winter. Various people have said that they want the verbascum and the calendula in here, so I need to sort that collection, or the collection of those, out. What I'm also hoping to do in the coming week is strim, maybe the final strim of the year. You can see here and here I flattened down the grass by working on this bed, but over here you can see that the grass is sort of getting quite long, so it does need another strim before winter. I do have a couple more brassicas that can go in here, and I will do those next week. But one of the reasons I needed to do this ages ago, you can see here how this brassica has grown and intertwined the leaves at the top, simply because it reached the top of the netting that was there. I do think, I mean, what I try and do is cram as much in as possible, but I think I said to you when I put these in, what I will do in future is I'll just do 2 rows closer down the center, because with the hoops being rounded, if you plant too close to the edge, they don't have enough headroom. I mean, these have all got enough headroom for the moment, and we'll just see how they grow over the winter months. I do need to get my needle and thread. I use a plastic thread and a sort of fisherman's needle, because I've noticed that I've got a hole here, and if I don't sort that out in the coming, let's say, week, something could get in there and that could get an awful lot bigger. It's all pegged down with pegs. I'm not sure if you can see the pegs in there. I find pegging with scaff netting a good idea. Obviously, if you've got fleece or Enviromesh, your pegs need to, the tines of the pegs either need to be really small or use something else. You can get those plastic things that sort of, you can tuck them under and then push them down. I think Vivi gave me some of those as well as some of her Enviromesh. Anyway, that's the brassicas netted for today. Next week I'm definitely going to plant some more brassicas. I mean, I could have done it this morning, but it's been chatting to do as well, so I'll be doing that next week. But at least these have now got a little, well, these over here that were hitting the top of the netting have now got a little bit more space to grow. Having said only an hour and a half ago that we've had a period of really dry weather for several weeks, as I was doing the pegging, I could feel some moisture on me, and basically we now have mizzle going to drizzle, and I think that's going to be it for me for today. I don't have any major waterproof. I do have my hoodie that I could put on, but that's not waterproof, so I think I'm going to leave it here for this week's A Week at the Plot. I'm very glad to have got that job done. I mean, it's just taken me so long to do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Maybe this later in this growing season I'll be able to keep on top of what I need to keep on top of. The other thing is, at the end, the person who wants the verbascum and also some of the feverfew came along, so I was able to show her where that is and where to take it from, so that's really good. So she's down again tomorrow. I think she just popped down with family now, and it is off for lunch, I think. So she's down tomorrow morning. It's going to take that tomorrow morning, so that's great. That means that tomorrow afternoon, which apparently could be sunny, I am hoping to get down here to finish off taking things out of the calendula, taking the calendula out of that bed where the verbascum are as well, and getting that prepared for the broad beans. When I say prepared, I mean just top dressing it with a bit of compost to feed the soil along the lines of where I am going to be sowing. So yeah, because I'll be sowing the broad beans in 2 rows about 8 to 10 inches apart, i.e. 2 sets of double rows. That's the correct phrase. 2 sets of double rows. The double rows between them being about 10 inches apart, and there'll be, I would have thought, a foot or more between the double rows. So anyway, we'll talk about that next week. Right, whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space or your allotment, I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're finding your mojo. The Greenwich footage, looking back on it, was a bit random, but yeah, I mean, that's me, a bit waffly, a bit random, isn't it? So yeah, never mind. Right, I'm going to go because I can see that this camera is struggling with the light in the shed. It's great to have plastic sheeting, not sheeting, it's corrugated plastic on the roof because it lets light in, but sometimes the camera does struggle between is it light enough or isn't it. Anyway, there we are. I will see you very soon on Planet Vegetaria. There'll be uploads through the week of A Week at the Plot, and of course in a week's time there'll be the full upload, full upload of A Week at the Plot on YouTube. See you then. Have a good week and happy growing. Bye.